listening in.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rewind and Reflect, where we believe in the universal truth that nothing happens by consequence. Again, coincidence or mistake. And we are here to tell you our life stories on that. My name's Deb Miller, and clearly I did not get enough sleep last night. Same as you, Susan Doyle.
Hi, everybody. I'm Susan Doyle. I'm so punchy today because we're recording this on July 3rd. So it's the day before July 4th, obviously, right? And so I don't have to work tomorrow, either, my regular like paying the bills job or teach tomorrow. And so I have kind of like the summer Friday, like Zoomies. And so before we started recording, Deb and I were talking, and I don't know. I said, I think I was trying to get the music and trying to hit the record button. And I just said to Deb right before I hit record, I'm like, okay, this is just going to be a shit show.
Yeah. And then what comes out of my mouth is blah, blah, blah.
So the shit show has begun, right?
Yes, it has. It sure has.
Oh my God.
So,
So
yeah, so it is a holiday weekend, which, you know, I, I I don't usually do anything on 4th of July. For what I will do is go sit with a dog who is scared of fireworks I know,
hmm,
while their parents go out for the evening. But I really do have a problem with fireworks with regards to animals and vets who have PTSD. And
yeah.
it's one thing if there's like a fireworks show that is going to only last, let's say 20 minutes or so, or however long they usually last. It's the random, like, people just
Idiots in the
and oh
neighborhood.
God, and it's
Yeah,
just a crowd every time. It's like so,
I
I
know.
really do feel bad for the animals, but
I do have to say, by the grace of God, our dog is does not
good.
get scared with thunderstorm, like nothing. Thank God, because I do know people who have dogs that, are quivering underneath the bed when there's like the
Terrible.
slightest rumble of thunder 20 miles away, but
Yeah.
we this year, so the little town that I live in does this big parade on 4th of July, and the night before does a big fireworks show. It has a little like a cover band, kind of local band concert
Mhm.
situation, and then um fireworks. But this year, and it typically goes off in the field at the high school, which is, wide open. So this year they're building a new high school in our town. So it's moved to right down the street from me in another little school, and they're not doing the fireworks. I don't know if it's because they don't have enough clearance or the permit or whatever. They're doing a laser show.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I'm open-minded, and Sean and I will probably walk down, we can walk down the street. It will
Yeah.
literally take us 4.5 minutes to get there. So A, not noisy.
Yeah.
B, I'm open-minded. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I've seen laser shows before that are done with drones and they're really cool. But I don't know what yours is going to look like, but I would much rather have that than the noise.
I always feel like I just have to keep the window shut from July 1st to July 5th
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
just starts,
The whole weekend. I know.
Yeah.
I know. So, um,
So we were talking
mhm.
before we turned the cameras on. And as the shit show was unfurling, you said, I am manifesting that this is going to be a great show.
Yes.
Which kind of sparked us to think to like maybe touch upon what manifestation means to you, what a big like a part of your life, how big of a part it plays in your life in regards to either decision making or trajectory or stuff like that, which I think is a great thing to talk about. And we ultimately kind of came up with we may have some differing views, which I would love to hone in on. So,
Well, first of all, like
or
the
maybe
whole,
not.
yeah, I mean, the whole, I feel like meditation, manifestation, like they're very popular words right now. Everybody's doing, and I get like the meditation thing, I feel like it is very important to practice because in this world where things, it's an absolute shit show, we need to quiet our minds in some way
Hmm.
and just reconnect with really who we are, okay? Um, Manifestation for me is something a little bit different. I believe it can happen. I really do. I believe that when your inner voice and your external voice align with something that you want, it will come true. And
Interesting.
yeah, I'll give you an example of how things that have manifested in my life, even though at the time I didn't think I was manifesting it.
Hmm.
I wasn't intentionally manifesting it. I was hoping, so and I remember it like it was yesterday. So it was July and it was so it was 2013 because it was Hunter was in the hospital and he was, that was really a tough time for him. He was 6 months into his treatment and he was very, very sick and he would spend days and days and days in the hospital, like upwards, I think the longest he stayed was like 21 days consecutively. And it was during July. And I remember being in his hospital room and like the kid hadn't even left his room to go out in the hallway for all that time, let alone step outside and get any kind of fresh air. So if you can imagine being bedridden in the same room for all of those days, it's like
Oh,
it's tough. So of course,
it is so, that has to be so mentally incapacitating.
it is like with him because he was so sick, he wasn't even clamoring to do, and he didn't. I'd be
Yeah.
like, I'll put you in the wheelchair and we'll go around the outside of the hospital rooms. And no, he just couldn't. He just didn't want to do it. He was spiritually, mentally just deprived. So, but I remember being in his room, and of course, I'm looking on Facebook and I'm seeing everybody post their July vacations, and they're traveling or they're out on a boat or they're at the beach. And I just remember thinking that one of the greatest gifts in life is freedom,
Hmm.
and I remember thinking when this is all over, I am I do not want to sit still any longer. I want to live life. I want to breathe the fresh air as much as possible. I want to be outside. I want to be able to have the freedom to be able to choose where I want to go, when I want to go, how I want to go, the whole nine yards. Now, you got to remember, not only was Hunter sick, but I was a single mother working full time and the job that I worked at, what I had to be in the office, so
Yeah, so 2013 was way before COVID, where nobody even thought about remote
no,
working or remote employees as something normal.
right. The most I could do
Yeah.
was check my emails from my computer at the hospital, but so my life was very, very small and contained. I'd go to work, which was, 3 miles down the road for me. I'd come home, I would take it, and this is before Hunter was sick. I would take care of Hunter, bring him to his sports, do the thing, make the dinner, clean the clothes, the whole nine yards. And then when he got sick, same thing, but I was in the hospital a lot more. But my life was very I felt safe in that little environment, right? So I never wanted to really go. And plus I couldn't afford anything either because I was living paycheck to paycheck and an enormous amount of debt. And I there was no money for a vacation.
Oh,
So
yeah.
um
And there.
but I remember specifically on that day sitting in the hospital room and just thinking, I don't, I want to take advantage of my freedom. When Hunter's better and we're able to travel or to do whatever, that has got to be a priority to me. So fast forward, all these years later, well, 10 years ago when I met and started dating Kevin, who was like, can't keep his feet in one place for more than 5 minutes. He has to be on the move, has to be traveling, has to meet new people, be in new environments. And it was very rapid. And I was like, no, that's too fast, too much, stop. I wanted my home base. But I manifested that unknowingly, that I would
Mm,
end up with somebody who had all the all the things that I wanted for myself. He offered that,
yeah.
and there's a reason why I remember that one day so vividly in the hospital and that memory that I had and that thought process that I had. And then, 10 years later, I'm living it. I have all the
Yeah.
freedom in the world and, we travel a lot and we do the things. I really feel like that was a seed that I had planted in my mind and it was manifested. So I do believe that when what you want in your and if it's aligned with the will of your higher power, it's
Right.
going to come to fruition.
So let me ask you something. Do you believe with this that the universe put Kevin, I don't want to say back in your life, because the universe knew that you would not, that you wanted this, but you possibly wouldn't take the step yourself,
Absolutely.
that
And
you
I
needed
wouldn't
somebody in your life to hold your hand and show you the way.
absolutely.
And
I
it was easy, not easier, but um it was I guess more noticeable when you saw it in somebody else and were able to hop on and say, this is great, this is what I want, um instead
yeah.
of taking that, scary step by yourself.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I used to travel a lot for my work.
Mm-hmm.
And my territory, I was a national sales rep, so I was all over the place. But I would literally, if I had an appointment in California, I would
Mm-hmm.
fly in, the next day I would have my appointment. We'd probably go out to dinner at a local place with my
Mm-hmm.
clients, and then the next day I'd fly home. And
Oh God.
and if I had like an appointment and this happened a lot, I'd have like an appointment in LA and then one in San Francisco. I would just fly from one place to the other, do the job, and then fly home. Like I never took the time to explore or to anything. So when Kevin and I started dating and he was like, "Oh, I'm coming with you." I was like, "Okay, but I'm working." He's like, "Yeah, no." So he would be like, "We're not flying from LA to San Francisco. We're going to drive." And he would make sure that he had all the things planned, like mapped out of all the things we're going to see and all. I would have never in a million years done that for myself. I never did. I mean, I proved it to myself.
Yeah.
I'd fly in, I'd do my work, and I'd fly home instead of taking advantage of really seeing things. And
Right.
it's exactly what I wanted and what I wished for that day. But I could not, no, there's no way I would have done it by myself. And I wouldn't have done it with anybody that I didn't really trust either, because it's,
Well, that way of being is in his DNA. So it's
yeah,
not fake. It's very intrinsic to who he is. So you're able to trust it.
yeah. And another thing, so I remember also when I was visiting my parents here in Sarasota, um, Kevin and I we were just driving around checking things out, and we came onto Longboat Key. And I remember specifically having a thought then, like, oh, this would be an amazing, I would love to live here. And
Hmm.
X amount of years later, here I sit. But the interesting thing is, I thought it, didn't think much of it. It was just a comment.
Right.
Then it came to fruition. So again, it was that seed that was planted. It was meant to happen. And so it did. So I didn't meditate and do the picture in my head thing. It was just comments that I would make, out
Right.
loud. And then years later, it would come to fruition. So I don't call it coincidence because I don't believe in coincidences. So I know that it was something, everything that's happened in my life, the way it's happened is meant to be. Even the bad things, even the bad things.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, for me, it's interesting because I've never heard, but it makes sense to me that your internal voice and your external voice are aligned.
Yeah, that's
That
the
makes so much sense to me because before we turned on the cameras, I was saying to you, I don't really know. I don't know. Right now, my feelings or my definition of manifestation is more aligned with the definition of karma, meaning like, you put good things out in the world and good things come back to you, but they're not really defined. It's just you live in a positive world changing type of way, your world will be changed and and goodness will come back to you, usually more than what you put out. It exponentially it grows. But that's not to say, but it's also not to say that when not good things, things that are perceived to be bad or not positive, is not anyone's fault other than the universe trying to teach you something,
yeah, yeah.
right? So either what you're putting out isn't authentic. And that's why I said about Kevin is that is authentically who he is. It is in his DNA. There's nothing fake about his wanderlust and his zest for travel and new things and meeting people and seeing and really living life to its fullest.
Mhm.
Um, so I think sometimes when things that are not that great happen, it is the universe saying to you, okay, you need to wake up a little bit. You need to pay closer attention. What you're putting out in the world is being received differently than what you think you're putting out there, right? But it's interesting because, again, I've never heard the internal external voice being aligned, which makes a lot of sense to me. And I agree with you. I don't think anything happens by coincidence. I think everything happens for a reason, mostly to teach us something and or to wake us up.
You manifested something. Want me to tell you what you manifested without even
Sure.
knowing?
Yeah.
So when you got divorced, it was really clear to me that you wanted to be married, you wanted a relationship, you wanted to take care of house and home and husband.
Hmm.
That's who you are, that's what you wanted. Well, you planted that seed. Look at where you
Yeah.
are now.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you for
Because
sure.
because guess what? You could, if you didn't, everything came to you as you asked for it. There are struggles, no doubt. But those are all, but what you really deeply wanted came to fruition.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. Yeah, and I think, and so here's the other thing is when it comes to you, it's not forced. Meaning, if you're manifesting something, but you're blind to what's going on around you, to me, you're trying to force something that may not be meant for you.
Absolutely.
Right? So, like, if you are with somebody other than Kevin and you're forcing this person to be, to take the reins and make these arrangements and travel and do these things, it's gonna blow up in your face.
Yeah, and that's the lesson, and it's going to be painful, and that's the lesson.
Hmm.
You can't force things to happen that aren't meant to be. You know,
Correct.
it just
Correct.
it's a timing thing, and it is again a manifestation for me is not forcing anything to happen or I think a lot of people they do their they do their they visualize what they want and they picture it and they do all of that. Um, but if you don't believe it inside, then it's never going to happen. But most importantly, if it's not meant to be, it will not happen yet.
Right. No
It
matter how tight you close your eyes or matter how tight you clasp your hands together in prayer, so, and I also think that the word manifestation has been a little overused, a little bit
well,
like
yeah, agreed.
meditation and all this other stuff.
Yeah, agreed.
So I, I think it's, and then people make vision boards, which I'm not saying are bad or good, or whatever works for you. Um, and maybe, at the conclusion of this conversation, maybe manifestation and karma work hand in hand.
Yeah,
You
so
have to be open to receive.
right.
I
It,
don't know.
you I absolutely agree with you. You always have to be open to receiving. And we tend to focus so much on what we don't have rather than what we do have. And I think that blocks a lot as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Karma to me also it does mean what comes around goes around, right? So what you put out there is going to come back to you tenfold. And I believe it and it's happened to me multiple times. Um, Karma scares the shit out of me though, because there's things that I might not have realized that I've done to hurt somebody. It might be unintentional or from years back. Um, that's going to come back to bite me if it hasn't already. I mean, it's not like,
Right.
I my life has not been a bed of roses, but everything, so perhaps that was karma, the tough battles
Yeah.
karma, but I
I
don't know.
mean, so with every bed of rose, there's some thorns,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
And
With
sometimes there's a
every bed
lot
of
of thought.
roses, there is some thorns. And
Yeah.
so,
But I
um,
won't stop thinking and feeling the positive and the, you know, constantly, how do I say this? Constantly asking for good abundance, all of
mhm.
prosperity, health, happy, all of that, and if I look back and if you look back as well, and anybody who's listening, and you look at where your life is right now,
Mhm.
you can say like, okay, this is at some point in my life, I wanted this. I thought about this, I wanted it, and now I've got it. And if it's bad, if it's not serving you anymore, then you have to rearrange your thought.
So that is a great point, and let's touch upon that for a little bit because if somebody at this moment listening to this is like, "Well, I didn't want this. I mean, this sucks," or whatever, or I'm trapped in this relationship, or my job sucks, or my home situation is horrible, or whatever. I didn't manifest this bullshit. To me, it is the universe saying to you, okay, there's something not aligned. Like your internal and your external is not aligned,
Yeah.
right? And so it is the universe sending you a sign. And you just got to wake up to what the universe is saying to you and not be afraid to see. So
Hmm.
like you were not afraid to see that Kevin's right in front of you. You guys have a great relationship and he fills this part of you that you wanted to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
But on the flip side is if you're in a relationship or in a situation, a job or whatever, that you're like, this is not what I envisioned for my life.
Right.
It is the universe saying to you, okay, wake up. You're right. You're not aligned.
Right. But think about it this way too. At some point, that job was very much wanted. That
Correct.
marriage was
Yeah.
very much wanted. So that was manifested. But then you get to a point in
But
certain, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
So you get to a point in that you outgrow the manifestation that you've created. And that's when you really have to take a look at what it is that you want changed,
Right.
and
Right.
acknowledge that and make that known to the universe. And it doesn't happen overnight, but little by little it happens. But if you sit in your seat right now and you think back to where you are and all the things that have happened in your life, I guarantee you say at some point I asked for that. No, I'm not talking about the bad things. Those are just lessons that we have to, trials and
Or
tribulations.
it's a sign from the universe saying you have outgrown this.
You've outgrown it, right?
Or this was good, we manifested and you achieved, and now it's time to create something different or new
Right.
or better or higher, in a higher vibration or something like that. I mean, to me, it's always, to me, I call upon the example of, people constantly take jobs for the money,
Yeah.
the bump in pay. I want to make this. I want to make this. I need to be up here and here and here. And then you sort of get there and you're completely unfulfilled and you're miserable and you're owned by your company. You're not, your time is not your own and all this stuff. And then it's like, that's your opportunity to say, okay, like I manifested this. It may not have been the best thing for me, but the
Mhm.
universe gave it to me and now is showing me a different way.
Yeah, they're saying you wanted
Right.
this here, check it out. Yeah, this is what your life would be. That exactly happened to me. I begged for the last job I had because it was going to make me some money. And oh my God, I needed the lessons that I learned in that very badly.
Right.
But wow,
Right.
did I, was I like, okay, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
and
mean,
like, listen, I never manifested Hunter being sick. I never manifested my divorce or my addiction or, the loss of my ex-husband, nothing like that. I didn't manifest that. Those were all lessons that I had to live through, really
agreed. Agreed.
appreciate and know what I wanted, what I really wanted in life,
Correct. Correct.
and
Yeah, I
so
mean, maybe those things just weren't meant for, there was something that wasn't meant for you. It was the universe saying to you, it was a huge, all those things when you're in it feel like shit, but it is a wake up call. It is a life wake up call.
yeah,
Like,
it is.
so let me ask you something. Do you think you would have ever come to the realization of what a gift freedom is being able to walk outside, if you were not sitting in that hospital room in the middle of the July with a sick child?
No, I don't think so
Probably
because
not.
no, I know me and I would have been like, nope, got to keep working, got to pay the bills, got
Yes.
to do this, got to do
Mm-hmm.
that, and sitting inside an office all day and then coming home and I would have never that would not have crossed my mind because I would have
Right.
been so concerned with my everyday day-to-day
Yes.
obligations.
Yeah.
But
I mean, these wake up calls are an opportunity to see what's working and what's not working.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
So, yeah, I get, you know what? Again, I'm going to go back to it is, I have never heard internal, external voices being aligned, but it makes sense to me now that there is a difference between it
hmm
and karma. I
hmm
do believe that they work together, but
hmm
um, thank you for enlightening me.
yeah, I mean, it's just what I do. No, it's very to me it's really interesting, and it's always sort of like a life experience experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, spirit guides and
Yeah.
all of that. It's all part of me trying to learn how to be one with the universe,
Hmm.
and that it helps.
It
So
does.
I would
It
love
does.
to.
But you know what? It just it wraps. You know what it does for me? It brings meaning
Hmm.
to life.
Yeah.
Like it brings meaning to like why are we here?
Yeah. Yeah. And reasoning.
Correct.
But
Which
if you
is,
think about how fun would it be if, you put everything down on paper that you wanted in life, how you wanted it to be, what you wanted it to look like, and then just, 5 years from now, look back and be like, didn't,
hmm,
where am I now?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just life is meant to
crazy.
be fun and experimental, and
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
so let's hear from our audience if they've ever done any manifestation and
And
what
what it
it's,
looks like for them and
yeah,
how do they go about, what it doesn't have to look the same. Um, but how do they, yeah, how do you manifest? What's your
yeah,
definition?
right.
And if you quiet your mind enough to sit and really reflect, how much of what is going on in your life now did
Hmm.
you manifest, and what type of wake-up call has the universe sent you over the
Yes.
course of your life? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I love it though. It's interesting.
Yeah. All
So
right. Well, I mean, listen, we can't solve all the world's problems in a
in
half
one
an hour.
podcast. No, I mean we need at least, I don't know, three.
Another day or two.
Yeah. So, but do reach out to us and let us know what your
Yes.
thoughts are.
Rewind and reflect with us at gmail.com. The and is spelled out, or please, 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 DM us on social media. Let us know your thoughts. And we will take it from there. Love
Yes.
you.
Love you too. Namaste.
Namaste. Happy 4th, everybody.
Happy 4th.